Now, I don't know about you, but inspiration comes in lots of different ways. Sometimes in pretty obtuse ways, if you want to call it that, or unusual ways. Um, Sometimes I get song ideas from crazy things I've seen in TVs and movies and stuff like that. Um, I've actually this song, "Words That Are Spoken," is the one I'm referring to in this uh, latest Instapod, I suppose, and it's inspired by a Saturday Night Live skit. Now, I've written two other songs. One, More Cowbell, the infamous Saturday Night Live skit. Took a little twist on that. It's kind of an old song, but it's More Cowbell, kind of fun. Check it out. It's on the Spotify on the Wrecking Crew's list. Also, another song, Just a Man. And that one is inspired by the infamous Chris Farley skit that we're all pretty familiar with, a man living in a van down by the river. So I'm Just a Man is inspired by that, takes a different twist. And once again, it's an older song on the Wrecking Crew's playlist, but go ahead and check it out. It's on Spotify and all your streaming services, and maybe you'll kind of get an idea how at least my brain works. I don't know if I know how it works. Anyway, but this song, Words That Are Spoken, are inspired once again by Saturday Night Live skit, and I wrote it almost a year and a half ago. I've held off on it in respect because one of the characters in my song refers to Ozzy Osbourne, and he had just passed away about a year ago. We just had his 1-year anniversary of his death, and I don't know, in respect to him, his family, his fans, those who were, moved in any way by him, I just thought it was appropriate just to hold off on it a bit, because I don't want the song to be misconstrued. It actually is an homage to not only people like Ozzy, but it also refers to Bob Dylan and Tom Petty. And you say, wow, that's a weird mix. This is how it goes. Saturday Night skit. They did the Weekend Update. The host, I'm not sure who he was at that time because they've changed their hosts on Saturday Night Live so many times, but he calls in Bob Dylan to be their guest commentator. And of course, one of the comedians does the classic Dylan impersonation, where he's mumbling and talking. You can't understand what you don't know what he's saying. So then he calls in Tom Petty for the Dylan impaired. And then Tom Petty translates what Bob Dylan's saying. Now, Tom Petty has his own accent and mumbling way with his voice, and so it's hilarious. Dylan and Petty know what each other is saying, but the audience watching Weekend Update has no idea. So anyway, that's always been a funny sketch to me. I always thought it was hilarious. And then I've always thought they could add another layer to it where they would invite Ozzy Osbourne in to be a translator for the Petty impaired, and they could take it to a third character, Ozzy. And I don't know writers on Saturday Night Live. If I did, I'd say, dude, you got to take this to the next level. Bring in somebody to impersonate Ozzy and do that, because Ozzy obviously has his own mumbling, heavily accented way of speaking that a lot of people can't understand all the time. Anyway, so that's the essence of the song. Dylan, Petty, Ozzy. That's kind of the sequence of it. It's actually the nickname on the song. It's Words That Are Spoken, but it's Bobby, Tom, Ozzy. But the song takes a journey lyrically that I think is interesting, and sometimes that's just how I think or I work through it. But that's the germination of the song. That's where it started from, is in my head another layer of that skit being lived out. But then I also took it into the realm of the people who've been touched, moved, and encouraged, inspired by Bob Dylan, who's still alive, Tom Petty, who's passed, and now Ozzy Osbourne, who's passed. All very different men, yet in their own way, people have been moved and touched and encouraged, and in many ways, God has actually spoken to people's hearts through them. And not all of us understand that if you're not fans of those artists, but at the same time, it is quite amazing And then as you take a deeper dive into some of the songs and lyrics, you begin to realize why people have been touched by these legends over the years. And so anyway, this song takes a little bit of a lyrical journey. I hope you're willing to ride it out. It is more of a folk, modern folk story song. Some people think it's too long because it's not a 3 or 4 minute pop song that, you know, play on the radio type of stuff. I know that's what is popular, but I've found, at least on Spotify, in my top 10, at least 3 or 4 of the songs are longer story songs that kind of take you on a journey and unpack along the way. So maybe that's not radio fare. But anyway, who listens to the radio anyway? But they are songs people seem interested in. So check out Words That Are Spoken. Take the journey. Let me know what you think. And I am curious the elements of the song that are interesting to you. And in the end, I hope you're encouraged that if God can speak through them, that maybe he could speak through you too. That's the essence of the song in a nutshell. I don't want to give it all away, but take a listen, take the journey, and hope you enjoy it. But it's a song that I feel is appropriate. We just passed last week the 1-year anniversary of Ozzy passing, and I thought, okay, the time's right. I think people have, those who are close to him, you know, he is a husband, a father, a grandpa. There are people, friends that really do, you know, love and are grieving him. So I just wanted to give an appropriate time before putting this song out. But I hope the song is an homage to him as well as the living Bob Dylan and Tom Petty and all their music and the people they've touched along the way. Maybe we can do the same. Love you much. Take care. Peace out.